Okay, I'm going to install a round fender sleeve hitch. So what I've excuse me, what I've done so far is I've taken the bracket for the hitch and I've just kind of loosely put it on the tractor, since oftentimes these sides bind a little bit. It's really hard to do on a video because you kind of have to hammer it in place just because of how tight it fits. This is actually not that bad. It's actually pretty loose on there. To do this job, you'll basically need 2 of each 9/16 and 1/2 inch wrenches. You'll obviously need the bracket that goes on the back of the tractor. You'll need the sleeve hitch itself. You'll need the pulley that goes under the tractor. You need the lift arm, the lift cable. And then also here I have the chain lockup bracket, which goes right here. But I'm not going to install it because you have to, there's no real easy way to get to these bolts right there with the transaxle in. So I'm just going to leave that off for right now. I'm not going to lift anything heavy. I'm just installing this mainly, potentially maybe put 2 weights on it. I'm not sure. I'm going to put a front attachment on this tractor, so you know, I'm not really going to lift that much or run anything on the back. So I'm also not going to put on the helper spring in this particular case, simply because this is kind of a show deal where I'm not going to use this tractor much. So I'm going to use my helper springs on something that I use frequently. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten up these 2 bolts, and I'm going to tighten up each one of these bolts on the side here. And then I will come back and I'll show you how to install the lift cable and the pulley. We'll climb underneath the tractor for that. So hopefully this video is helpful. Okay, the next thing to install is we're going to install the pulley bracket. And that actually attaches underneath the tractor, and it comes up through these 2 carriage bolt slots right there. What we're going to do is we've got the bracket itself, and then we have the 2, I call them bullet nuts, I'm not sure what you want to call them, and then the carriage bolts. We're going to put the carriage bolts up through the bracket and come out of the top, so it'll look something like that when we're done. You can oftentimes tell if a tractor's had a sleeve hitch installed, because a lot of folks that remove sleeve hitches, they end up leaving this pulley. I can't tell you the number of tractors that I bought that have had that pulley but no hitch. Kind of interesting. One thing I did not mention previously, that bracket that's on the back of the tractor, you actually use that same bracket with a bar instead of 2 pins for the Model 30 tiller. So that's also a reason that the pulley could be installed underneath the tractor, potentially if it had a tiller at one time. A lot of times guys will just pull the tillers off and try to sell the tillers by themselves, or the brackets by themselves, and they'll leave that pulley. So what we're going to do is see if I can video this while I work under here. So I'm going to set the camera down. My hands will probably be in the way. What we're going to do is put this bracket in. Oops. And you want to make sure when you put it in, it's installed like that. So the pulley will be in between the bracket and that frame rail right there. Hopefully I'm getting that on camera. I think I am. So I'm going to go ahead and install a nut on the top. I'm kind of sitting outside the machine, so this is not particularly hard. And then the same thing for the rear carriage bolt. If I can get it installed. Maybe. One day. There we go. And so that, I don't have it tightened down yet, but you can kind of see how that bracket goes in there. Like I said, I apologize if I didn't catch that on video. I wasn't quite sure where the camera was at because I had to set it down. But now what we can do is we can insert the lift cable in and go from there. So let's see if we can go ahead and get the lift cable in. So with the lift cable, what you're going to do is you're actually going, this end right here is going to come out of that hole right there. See if I can get this. I can't remember if I can get it, if I can get the lift cable through here or not. Oh yeah. So we're going to feed the lift cable through there like that. Make sure it goes over the axle like that. And then we're going to take our pin, our key, and our pulley, and we're going to go back underneath the tractor. And I'm going to set the camera down once again. Hopefully you can see that. And what I'm going to do is we actually did not get the pulley or the cable all the way through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed the cable over the brake band here and get the cable to where we can, eventually the cable is going to attach to this lift point right here on the lift shaft. So I'll feed the cable through. A lot of times what I use is one of those 3-foot long grabbers or 2-foot long grabbers you can buy at Lowe's for like $5. Works really, really well for something like this. So I'll do that and then I'll come back and finish up. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've gotten this cable over the axle and the brake band and everything. And what I've done is now what I have is to stabilize it. I've gone ahead and put this bracket on. And to get this bracket in the back of the tractor, you're going to angle it to the side. You got to make sure everything fits right. And then that will fit there like that. And so now what we can do is we can come under here again, and what we're going to do is we're going to take our pulley and our pin, and we're going to put see if I can do this one-handed. We're going to put our pulley in. I don't think I can do this one-handed. So we're going to pulley in like that, and then slide the pin in. Like that. So hopefully you can see what I'm talking about there. I don't know what's happening with my camera. I'm not supposed to be zooming in. But so now you can see how the lift cable goes over the pulley. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put a pin in there, or put a key in there, a Carter key. So this shaft and this lift cable will pull over that pulley. So that's it for underneath the tractor. I'm going to tighten down the carriage bolts as well. Those are 1/2-inch nuts on the top. Tighten down those, and then I'm going to connect this to the lift arm here. So that's it from underneath the tractor, and then we'll go back to the back. Okay, attaching the actual hitch itself. What I've done, the best way to attach it is to put the lift arm all the way forward. If you have a hydro lift machine, put it all the way down. Put the lift all the way down. And then for the back, it can be pretty infuriating trying to hook this up once the hitch is on. So the best thing to do for to hook the actual hitch up is to go ahead and put this all the way in the out position, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of Oops. It's kind of hard to do this one-handed. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put in here like that. So now we just kind of got the hitch hanging there. And then what we can do is then we can take at each side, in this case I kind of use my feet here to make it level. We can put the pins in. Sorry for my arm in the way. So it's kind of one of those tough things to do one-handed. So anyway, that'll give us the hitches now hooked up. Put the pins in like that, and now the hitch is hooked up. So because I didn't attach the hold-up chain right here, sometimes I just take and I'll just put this in here like that, because I mean I'm not really going to lift the hitch up. And because of what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and adjust it, and it's all the way up position like so. That way it's not, nothing drags the ground, because I'm not interested in hooking anything up right now. If I do hook anything up, I will put the helper spring on. That is something that really helps, shockingly enough, very appropriately named. So anyway, that's how you hook the sleeve hitch up to a round fender. Hopefully that's informative, and we'll test to make sure it works. So all the way up and down, up and down. That works for me. So that's how you hook up a round fender sleeve hitch.